time. It's time for the show, isn't it?
It's time for the show.
Yep.
Jess knows, Steve knows, I know, and you know it is time for the show. My name's Dave. This is Steve Edwards. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. Steve got in town just in time for us to do our weekly program. Steve, how was it delivering presents with those mules? They gear up for it all year long.
Yeah, I'm poor. I'm poor, plumb wore out. Uh, Red, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer identified as a skunk this year, and so he didn't want to pull the cart, and all the rest of them wanted to bend the knee. So that's it for Santa Claus. I'm done with him. We use the mules, and I'm plumb wore out. I barely got in at daylight. Hey, we passed over something called the White House. They were on the naughty list. Yeah, the whole place on a naughty list,
Hopefully that made for some time savings.
Yeah, well, we did. We know that pretty quick. That naughty list, that White House thing. Some guy by the name of Josie. He was on the real naughty list. Yeah.
Lumps of coal all the way around. Well, hey, we've got Christmas in the rearview mirror, and we've got the new year coming up. So I know that a lot of you are out and about today. You're extending Christmas with different friends and family. So if you watch this on the replay, we are so grateful to have you join us, and we hope that you had a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful holiday season, and we hope that you are able to stay safe through celebrating the new year. Like I said, we get together every single week to talk mules and donkeys. This week's no exception. And if this is your first time watching or first time in a long time, you'll be interested to know the rules. Yes, there are rules, but they are very easy and you will love them. First and foremost, we want to know that you're here watching. So put your name, where you're watching from, and what the weather is like there today. And how about this? How about we add one thing from Christmas Day or Christmas weekend that just really was great, fantastic to you. It could be a gift, it could be a conversation, it could be meeting with someone, it could be a dish that you ate, any number of these things. But your name, where you're watching from, what the weather's like, and your favorite moment from the Christmas weekend. That's the first thing. The second thing we ask is that you share you ask any and every mule or donkey question that you've got. We have a couple today. Folks have been busy over the course of last week, so we don't have as many queued up as normal. So we're going to be counting on you to share whatever questions you've got and help us make this program awesome. No matter what the question is, put it in the comment section. We will get to it. And the third thing that we ask is that you share the broadcast with friends and family. We've been doing everything that we can to make sure that Christmas dinner would not be awkward for you, and reports from all over the universe have been flying in saying that, it would have been real tough if they had found out that I was watching the Ask Steve show and hadn't shared. But because you reminded us, Dave, it wound up going smoothly. So we love hearing that. And so share the broadcast. Sharing is caring. We would love to hear it. And we're going to kick off today's program with a question from Jolly. Says, I like your training videos and your mule insight. My question, my business partner with goats and horses just rescued 2 mules from the local game park from lions and tigers. The info I got on my Molly is that she's a former racing mule from Northern California and is 14 years old. She was bought at the Eugene auction by a lady that collects mules. She lost her farm, so her mules needed new homes. She said my now mule was brought into the auction area being ridden by a man who later stood on her back. This woman was enormous and bought her, but next day at the farm realized her new mule had been drugged. She bucked off new on her own, so she sent the mule to a pro mule trainer, but after 3 months he could not ride her. She will pack. She has a big scar across her chest, with no doubt accounts for her reluctance to carry a rider. After reading your article, I'm wondering if there's any hope for rehabilitating her. I fear you would say no. The good news is if no one can ride her, she will be a fine protector of our goats. Thank you for your wisdom. I like seeing your area cactus while it's cold and rainy here. Jolly. What would we say to Jolly, Steve?
Well, yeah, I know. Well, I knew of the guy who originally had taken and cloned race mules, and he wanted to clone after this one mule. And here's the key word, folks. When they say race mule, mules don't like to race. They don't like to run. So they have to be, scared. They whip them, They whip them. You'll see it in the videos where they're whipping them. I've been right there at Bishop and watching them race there, and them mules. Once they get them going, it takes them miles to get them stopped. Yeah, because they got no brakes, they got no nothing. And yes, oh yeah, they use drugs, folks. Yeah, it's not unusual for them to use drugs. Unfortunately, a lot of people prefer the color green rather than the color red, which is what some people end up having because these mules hurt them. Yep, yeah. Of course, we can't do nothing with people who are liars and cheaters. Just say it like it is. And that's what those people are. When you go to an auction, be prepared to get the short end of the stick. Yeah, you don't really see the real mule, folks. Most of those mules are tired, wore out by the time they get there. At Bishop, when they used to, you hear that? Past tense. Used to have. Past tense. Mule auction, 75% on an average of those mules were turned back because they were junk. And they're super tired by the time they get there. And most people don't know how to ride a mule anyway. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You watch them in there in that circle and they're pulling and jerking around and the auctioneer's going over and you're about to have a hemorrhage because you think that's the greatest mule in the world. And nope. They just put rose-colored glasses on you. That's what they did. Don't go to an auction buying these mules. These high-end auctions, I'm not going to name them, but they sell them for big money, and ain't a mule out there worth that kind of money, folks. Nope. I've only seen about 4 or 5 really well-trained mules where they actually looked trained. You can't believe the amount of people who have brought me mules that they went to a high-end auction and they saw the people stand on top of the mule and pop a whip, crawl between the legs and all this stuff. Folks, that is not trained. That's not trained. That's dog and pony shows. That's not trained. In a 10-foot circle, if you see that mule side pass, turn on the forehand, turn on the hindquarters on a light rein, and you see the rider barely move, that's trained. Hear that in a 10-foot circle. Not going up the trail. Not, it's packed 10,000 elk up in Colorado. None of that. Stories. Hear that? Hear that? Stories. Yeah, I can tell you some stories. And on top of that, okay, let me add a little bit more to it. I would go to a clinic and I would bring my mule, one of my mules, and I would give an example what the people were going to learn at my clinic. Yep. Everybody would see that mule do everything. Mule never missed a lick. Never. Seen everything just perfect. Yep. Then I'd say the audience. Hey, how many of you have been riding 20 years? How many? Hands fly up everywhere. Okay, come on up here, 20-year rider. Yep. Ride that mule. Climb on this mule. You just saw me ride. You just saw me side pass. Turn on the forehand. Turn on the hindquarters. Pick up all 4 feet. Climb on the left side. Climb on the right side. Climb off. Load in the trailer. Pick up all 4 feet. You just saw that. Here's a person with 20 years experience riding mules. Okay? Yep, they climb on that mule. 10 minutes later, it's all the mule's fault. The mule wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do what? Wouldn't do anything, hardly. Wait a minute. What happened? Wait a minute. Wait. We got a problem here. 15 minutes ago, that same mule didn't miselect. Why? What happened? Didn't give me drugs. Drugs didn't wear off. Oh. Could it have been a rider? Yes. Just because you buy a trained mule, don't say that mule is going to stay trained. You hear me? Your abilities will soon show up on that mule. Soon. Why do I tell you? The most important thing you can do is to spend your time on the ground. That's right. It's not important that you ride. No. Riding is a small part. Sure, you sat on that mule and you went down the trail. Did you side pass? Did you turn on the forehead? Did you catch him? Did you saddle him? Did you unsaddle him? See, all that's important, folks. I can't emphasize enough. Spend time on the ground. Hey, Dave.
All right. There you go. So thank you so much for that question, Jolly. Appreciate it. Let's go and say hello to Denny, watching from Sequim, Washington. Karen is watching from the land down under, taking us international. Tamworth, Australia. Gorgeous day, sunny and mild. Currently 21 degrees Celsius. Shared Christmas Day with our neighbors around the pool. That is a summer Christmas from our friends down in Australia. Appreciate that. Hey, Dave O'Brien, East Texas, 54 degrees and chilly. Watching. We love hearing from you, Dave. Polly is watching from Barnesville, Minnesota, as she does each week, 38 degrees above zero and rainy. Had freezing rain yesterday, so stayed home and watched football. Leslie is watching 40 degrees, Central Illinois. I found the scapula button on my mules, and wow, all three of my mules now easily lift their front legs. Thanks. That's what I did Christmas Day. What's the button she's talking about, Steve? That's pretty awesome.
On the scapula, and we've got a video that shows it, but you take your flat of your hand and you run along the flat of your hand, and all of a sudden you feel this high spot on this finger right here. You feel that high spot as you're moving across. And as you feel it, you'll watch the mule pick his foot up. That there's the button, and you push on it and watch. You touch it and watch the foot. See that? A movement. That's what we're looking for, is a movement. Now, we'll go ahead and touch it. Now the mule picks it up. And pretty soon, it'll take long. The mule will pick it up and hold it. Now, going back to the lady I first talked about, can you redo that mule? Yes. Don't let that trainer who spent 3 months wasting your time and your money touch it again, because obviously that trainer don't know what they're doing. But there you go. That's how you pick up a foot. Can you redo it? Do it yourself. I tell everybody, do it yourself. Waste your time on these so-called trainers.
Yeah. So over on YouTube, there's thousands of videos that we've uploaded. You can go check those out, whether they're full-length videos, whether they are shorts, whether they are live replays. This program, we've got hundreds of episodes of this program. Leslie is the one that was picking up the feet. Well, she's had a really cool post she sent in this week. She says, I am semi-retired, and the only weekly alarm that I have on my phone these days is your live question and answer show. Hee-haw! Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Decatur, Illinois, the soybean capital of the world. So that was very fun, Leslie. Really appreciate that. Matter of fact, before I read your comment here on today's live broadcast, Leslie, I had that queued up to share. So that was real neat. I like that a lot. Jeff is watching from upstate New York, 40 degrees, light rain. My favorite part of Christmas was the early morning rabbit hunt with our beagle. Steve, have you ever gone out and hunted rabbits?
Oh yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, my grandson come down here with the rest of the family, and he wanted to hunt some rabbits. Yep, hunt rabbits. So I give him a 10 gauge shotgun. Yeah. And we went out and we found a rabbit. Rabbits are not hard to find around here. We got a lot of rabbits. He shot the rabbit. He skinned the rabbit. He cooked the rabbit. He ate the rabbit. Yep, he likes rabbit.
All right. Rabbit boy. All right. Sandy has our next question. I have a 17-year-old mule. He's 16 hands. He's got a big belly, and his backbone and hips stick out some. The vet says it's a mule. Well, it's not the case, so I'm trying to get him fatter. Vamet says that that's a mule. That's just the way the mule's supposed to be. That's not the case, so I'm trying to get him fatter. I only ride him in the summertime, like maybe once a month. I was giving him alfalfa until I seen your write-up. Stopped giving that to him since he gets 100. He only gets 100. He gets a scoop and a half twice a day. But I can't seem to put weight on him, and he's got a field. Grassy field in the summer. I know he's upset because he's been in a field by himself, and he likes another horse in the field next to him. Right now, we can't put him out there. We're going to try, but the one who works out there, that's the one he likes fixing. And he don't kick you, don't bite. He's the best mule ever in the world. Sweetest could be. If I don't put apples and carrots in his feed, he won't eat it. I need help. So Sandy's got some food things going on here. Pasture, maybe buddy sour. I don't know. What would you say to Sandy, Steve?
Okay, number one, yeah, that's a mule when the mule has not been fed correctly. Hear that? Correctly. Exercise and a good feeding program, and they stay in a 20 by 20 stall. They don't go out to the smorgasbord out in the pasture. They don't do that. Okay, 17 years old. Yes, it's going to be very hard to put the proper weight on that mule because he's past 15. And it makes it really difficult because do they carry a belly? Yeah. Us old guys all got a belly. Yeah. So here's the deal. You got to put them on a good feeding program and a training program. Riding, moving around, this sort of thing. Mules are big in the belly. They carry their weight down low. That's the way a mule is. But when you fed them incorrectly, they will get worse. Just like most guys who drink too much beer, it flat puts the weight on them and puts a big old belly on them. Or like some of us where we eat too much ice cream, So here's the deal. Put them on a good program. We've got a feeding program there that we like to use called Lake and Light, which you will not be able to buy, but you take and go and watch that video and watch and read that article and take that feeding program, take it to your milling company. Go to your milling company, ask them to make them pellets for you. Yeah, and then you'll do good.
All right, I put a link in the comment section to our Mules Can't Stand Prosperity video, or Mules Can't Stand Prosperity article, and then I've put a link to our Feed Talk program. Feed Talk is a 30 to 40 minute free video training where Steve and another feed professional talk about creating a nutrition program. They reference a lot of stuff in the Mules Can't Stand Prosperity article. I think you'll really appreciate it. Go check that out. Hopping back over into folks hanging out with us today. Hi, guys. It's cold and windy. This is from Dragonfly. It's cold and windy in New Mexico. My best Christmas moment was a call from my dear sister. I love my come-along rope so much. I'm working with a horse, and it has made an amazing difference. We love hearing that. Ask the question, recently your guest mentioned the use of hobbles and picket ties. Do you use these? Are they safe for horses too? Do you have a training video for these?
Yes, we've got a training video. I train everything to hobbles. Everything. Picket hobble, double hobble, cross hobble, all of them. It is extremely important that you teach your animals how to hobble. And it is very, very important. You will see that a mule will catch on to it very quickly. Horses, yeah, it takes them a little longer because they get silly, but a mule will brace into it. They'll do just fine. I got a video called Wait Here, and it teaches all about hobbling
I just put a
and
link to
tying up.
that in the email that I sent back to you in the comment section. I'm putting a link to that right now. Here is a link to the hobbling video. I actually think I already posted it, but I don't think it went through. Continuing right along, Kimberly is watching from Maryland, where it's foggy and 48 degrees. Mari is watching from northwest Missouri, 40 degrees, a little snow, or a little below with snow in the air, and it's muddy, she says. Polly says, living example of Steve's direction to keep your mule in a small stall. Friday, I hooked up my horse trailer to go riding, and when I went to Cookie's pen, she was waiting at the gate. And I could tell she really enjoyed getting in the trailer and going to some friend's house to ride. So very good. Thank you so much, Polly. Appreciate that. Karen says, hey, Steve, what age do you start a mule on your feed program? Do you do it once they are weaned?
I actually haven't fed hay in 25 years. I've only fed a pellet. You want to feed like a Bermuda hay or a Timothy if you want to do it. Always have your hay tested to see what's in the hay. That's very, very important. That way you know your vitamins and minerals. And you can also do a hair follicle test on your mule and a blood test to see what they are lacking. You'll find the majority of mules are lacking selenium and zinc, two of the main things. So have that checked out. That way you have your mule have a well-rounded diet, and you won't end up with that lady, the 17-year-old mule that's overly fat.
All right. Cowboy Ken is watching today, 45 degrees in Connecticut. Nice day here. Also, have a happy new year. Same thing to you, Ken. Merlin is watching from northwest Minnesota. Very slippery here today. We got a small amount of drizzle last night and then froze hard. It's 28 degrees for a high today. No travel advised for our whole region. I hope you guys had a very blessed Christmas and want you to have a great new year. Thank you so much, Merlin. Appreciate that. Hey, Sherman Johnson. Johnson's Taxidermy is here. Steve, can you refresh us on how to measure for proper cinch link? I'm going to bring up a video if you want to stall for me for a second, Steve. I'll get a video for it.
You know, I can't really quote it all right now, Merlin, but if you'll take and watch that video, it'll help you out a whole bunch. And I tell you step by step how to do it. That'd be your best bet, partner.
So right here with this video, you don't have to have a measuring tape. You can do it with a rope or bale and twine, anything like that. And so once you get the measurement here, and I'll put a link in the comment section, you're going to need to then measure how long that is. But you could do it with any type of a rope. So if you don't have a tailor measure tape, you can do it with a rope or anything else. So there you go, and I'll put a link in the comment section. Anything else, Steve?
Well, it was done right there at the Andrada Ranch with my buddy Randy, who is battling cancer right now. He's actually winning. I talked to him just the other day. He's doing good. But my cowboy days are pretty much over. His his ranch sold, and so I don't really have that many friends around here right now because they're pretty much all died off working cattle. So I think I'm just going to go fishing.
Yeah, we want Randy to get better. I was going through videos, Steve, of just the last several years making family videos. I make a video every month of the year I take all of the clips from our phones and I put them into a video for that month. So if you said, hey, let's go back and watch February from last year, I've got a video for that. If you say, hey, let's watch March from, well,
Wow.
February from 2020, not March, February from 2020, we could go back and we could watch that. And we went back to, I think it was May of 2019 when we were out at the Andrada Ranch. We were supposed to go out again, but that dang COVID stepped up and prevented it. But we went out there. The boys had a lot of fun. It was really cool being able to watch that, and just the amount of time that Randy shared with my boys. You as well, but Randy shared with the boys, just taking them around the ranch. It sure was fun. So yes, our prayers are with Randy, and man, it's a bummer, but at the same time, we know that God will hear our prayers and that God will do His thing. Rory is watching from Southwest Ohio, where the weather is dreary today. Just turned you on. Hopefully the weather's dreary, but your feed is fun. Myra is watching from Southern California. Sunny, cool, and grateful for the rain we had. Happy Bew Year washed. Happy New Year, she says. She says, sorry for the typos. Thank you, Myra. Cowboy Ken says, hey, Steve, is that a Vermont flannel shirt? Is that a Vermont flannel shirt, Steve?
No, it's not flannel. It just happens to be just a good shirt to wear, you know.
Not a whole lot can go wrong when you got a good shirt. Next question. This one come in on YouTube. Is it safe to let mules chew on tree branches?
Absolutely. I do it all the time. Matter of fact,
wait, you chew on tree branches all the time?
Yada 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 yada. Yeah, the mules do. Actually, at the Phoenix Zoo is where I introduced it to the Phoenix Zoo, and they take mesquite branches and throw it out and let them chew on them. The mules like to chew, folks. So take yourself a branch of a tree. Now, ask your local veterinarian what tree branches they can chew on, because some of them can be deadly. Out here, we have Palo Verde, and these mules love chewing on the Palo Verde. I throw a branch in there a week, and they'll chew on it, chew it right down, and do really good. And it's really good for their teeth, really good for their teeth. So do that for them.
Awesome, very good. Next question also come in on YouTube. What do you do if your mule doesn't want to be haltered?
Yeah, that's tough. Really tough. So what you're going to do is you're going to first, without the halter, you're going to hold the nose and you're going to rub on the ears, rub on the face, rub all around. Okay? And you get the mule relaxed where he likes that stuff. Then you put your right hand on the pole behind the ears, left hand on the nose, and just hold it there and wait. Now, just that pressure alone, you're not pushing, you just got your hand there and you're just waiting. And pretty soon the mule drops his head. When he does, take your hands off, put your hands back on. Now the mule's thinking, oh, good. To get you to let go of me, all I got to do is drop my head and you'll take your hands off. He does it again. Lower this time. I take my hands off, put my hands back on. Pretty soon I've got his head way down here. Everything in 3, 6, 9, 12. So today I got the mule to drop his head 3 times. I quit today. I quit. Now, 2 days later, 10 days later, it makes no difference. You do not have to train every day. You do the same thing. Rub them all around. They relax. Put your hand on the pole behind the ears, hand on the nose, and wait. They immediately drop their head. Let go. Put your hand back on. Immediately drop their head. Let go. Put your hand back on. You do that 6 times. Now today you have done 6. You quit. Quit for the day. Couple days later, 10 days later, same thing again. Rub them all around, pet and scratch on them, make it fun. Put your hand on the pole, your left hand on the nose, and wait. This mule starts dropping its head as you are doing it. Now you do 9, and then you do 12 a few days later. 3, 6, 9, 12. Now you've built a foundation of when you put your hands on the mule, he drops his head and relaxes. You see what happened before? One thing you thought about? Put the halter on. No. There's always something beforehand. What's beforehand? Drop the head. Put the nose to the left. When they drop the head and they put their nose to the left, they're relaxed. You made them all upset. Somebody made them all upset when you went and put the halter on. Don't do that. Relax. It's not important to ride, folks. Get that riding thing out of your mind. When you ride, it's the ice cream on the cake because you've done everything quietly and easy and smoothly. And you enjoyed it all, from the brushing, the picking up the feet, all the way to the saddling, and then the halt and the riding. Enjoy every square inch of it. Yeah. It's not important to ride. I gotta hurry up and ride. No. Take your time. Relax. Go take a sip of tea, some water, and relax. Take it easy. Yeah. And do that way. Now, when you do that, when you relax, that mule's going to relax. Right now, that mule sees a halter, bang a bang. So here's my next question. You ready? Why are you using a halter? Don't sound like to me that the mule has any type of foundation training. Go back to the come along hitch. Start using the come along. But do it like I told you in the beginning. Nobody should put a bridle on. Nobody should put a halter on until the mule drops his head, tips his nose to the left. You hear that? Relax. Enjoy putting it on. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the ride.
Awesome. Yeah, we want you to enjoy the ride. It should be rewarding getting out there and working with your animal. And the reports that we get coming in often comes, the frustration often comes with feeling like I don't know what I'm supposed to do, feeling like I don't know where I'm supposed to spend my time. It feels like I can't make any progress. And typically what we find is that one of two things happen. Number one, you just need a little bit of direction and one thing to focus on, and you could be off to the races. Or number two, you tried to fix things, and in fact you fixed the problem that you were working on, but in the process you created multiple new problems that just go back to undermining your ability to make progress. But you should enjoy training. What's that, Steve?
Good point. You said you should miss a step. Good point. You rush through it. Don't do that. Take your time. Every move. You want your mule soft? You're the one that makes it soft. You want your mule hard? You're the one that makes them hard. Okay? You're the one that does it. If that mule is causing a problem, I'm sorry, folks, it's your fault. Even if it's a well-trained mule. Yes, I'll take that same mule and within minutes. You hear that? I'll have that mule doing anything I want it to do. Yeah. Not because I'm super fancy, but because I can understand the language of the mule. Take your time. Enjoy it. That's why I tell you, you can take my videos and do a better job than these so-called trainers. This one lady, we just heard her. She spent money on a so-called mule trainer. Oh, yeah? Really? What made her a mule trainer? Because she says, oh, I've trained 2 or 3 mules. Yeah? Okay. I'm sorry. Nix. She probably was spending more time riding than anything else. No. Spend time building a foundation. Build a rapport. build a rapport, a good foundation, and you'll have it. Yep.
Let's
That
see
trail
here. Hey,
leads.
Bill Rose is watching, running a little late,
Bill.
but still sharing to Mules of Ohio and Mules of Indiana, 54 degrees with the clouds. Kimberly is watching, says, Merry Christmas and have a safe and wonderful New Year. Thank you, Kimberly. Marsha, watching, rainy Virginia, lost power at the farm on Christmas and had to haul water. What a drag. You know what? That is a drag. But if there's anything I know about you, Marcia, it's that you figure out a way to make some sort of a fun thing out of it. I just get that. I just feel that about your personality that you're going to figure out a way to make it fun. So good to have you here as always, Marcia. Rosemary's watching, says, I met Steve in Calumet Falls a long time ago. He was teaching proper halter fit. Sure enjoy your videos. Thank you. He was teaching proper halter fit then, and we're still teaching proper halter fit now because the people need to know. And it's evolved over time. I'll tell you what, the more that I've seen Steve work with the come along rope over the last 15 years, the more I've heard him say, you know what? Stay away from the rope halter and stick with the come along rope. Use the rope halter when you need it, but stick with the come along rope for your ground foundation, your training, your instructions, your tune up, because that's going to give you the communication that you need. So thank you, Rosemary. Appreciate that. Marcia says, love the Christmas quilt on the wall. Very pretty. We got a Christmas quilt fan there, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife is a quilter.
Hey, that's pretty cool. I'll tell you what. So there's some ladies at our church, and I don't know. I'd be interested if your church does this too. There's some ladies at our church. They have a ministry. They've built a quilting ministry, and throughout the year they give away these handmade quilts. Well, when the ladies get together, they know who they are quilting for, and it's typically people who are in the hospital or bedridden or have come down with an illness,
Wonderful.
and they put these quilts together, hand stitch them, and they pray over every single square, and then they
Wow.
eventually deliver that quilt
Wow.
to the
Wow.
recipient and just say, hey, this has been prayed over. This has we have been
Wow.
remembering you. It is so cool.
That is, you cannot put a price on something like that.
Yeah.
People have taken their time, and you know as well as I do, Dave, time is worth money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, and people taking their time, and listen, they're praying God's blessing over every stitch and every piece. Wow. Can you imagine how blessed that blanket is and that person is getting it? That is phenomenal. That's
It's really cool to hear their reports.
Yep.
And just what's going on. I love it. Okay. Cindy is watching. I just have to tell you, I got your saddle pad for Christmas and used it today. It worked wonderful. My saddle did not move. I love it. Love it. There we go. We love hearing that. Thank you, Cindy. Kathy is watching. Merry Christmas, y'all. Sunny and 59 here in Houston, Texas. Nice day. Sharon says, I live nowhere that I can try halters for my mule. Well, you know what? Based upon this, all you need is the come-along rope. So no matter where you live, you can use the come-along rope. Joan says, thank you for sharing about the quilt ministry. You got it, Joan. Really pleased to be able to share that with you. Next question here. This one, it's going to be kind of hard to depict, but how should a mule hoof look, Steve? How should a mule hoof look?
Okay, on the exterior, smooth, no ripples, not like that. Yeah, that right there is a very sad mule, but it got better because the guy took care of it. Smooth, no ripples. The angle should be the same as the shoulder on your mule. Look at the shoulder. The angle of the foot, the hoof, should be the same angle as the shoulder, front and rear. All right? So your angle's good. Not that you put a protractor on it. That's not important. Same angle. The foot should be balanced when you lay it upside down. It should be balanced. And when you look at the frog The frog is soft to the touch, pushing on the frog. It's fat and healthy. Your frog pumps blood up and down the leg. Your frog is extremely important. You want it to be healthy. You want the back of the foot wide. You don't want it to be narrow. That's contracted. When it is contracted, it will put pressure upon the frog. And when you put pressure upon the frog, and the frog gets squished in because your heel is contracted, the majority of mules out there have contracted heels because they're not shod right, and mainly because when they were babies, they were not trimmed right. Okay? There, that's a pretty hoof and a pretty frog. And that right there, that picture's in the Netherlands. I can tell you that. Jolanda just sent us that. Now that is a pretty foot. That's a well-shod foot. Notice there's only 4 nails in that shoe. That's all you need. If your shoe is worth anything at all, 4 nails and you're done. The less nails, the better. That's a nice, clean, healthy foot. Look at the bulbs in the back, behind the shoe. Look how nice and round and smooth they are. Look at the frog, nice and trim and healthy. Look at the canals on both sides of the frog. They're all cleaned out and smooth. That's really important. That is a clean, healthy foot. That's what you want to look for.
Very good. Thank you very much. Good question. Thank you for the answer.
Good picture, Dave. Good for you.
Let's see here. Continuing right along. Let's see here. Sharon says, how do I find the right size halter online? She's got a smaller head than my last mule. Got it right there. He's got it. Sharon is confused right now.
Yeah. Sharon, my halters, I can adjust to fit a mosquito. Yep. I can adjust my halters down to fit a mosquito. Listen, here's the problem, folks. That halter is a tool. It's not meant to be pretty. It's not to have all kinds of colors and all kinds of different things. It's a tool. It's meant to be useful so that it communicates correctly. Your number one tool should be the come along hitch. You watch me ride, I ain't got a halter on my mule. You watch me climb up from the corral up to my hitching rail, I don't use a halter. Use a come along rope because it communicates correctly. When I'm going from the corral to the hitching post, I don't want my mule looking around because I'm teaching him from A to B. You'll listen to me. You hear that? Not dinking around, not looking around, not going past me and all this stuff. From A to B, you listen to me. When you adjust a halter, and this is extremely important. You see that come along hitch on there? When you adjust a halter, you may have the bottom part where you put your rope that long. That's okay, as long as the 2 knots are correct on the nose. You may have this long of a strap on the tie off on the end. That's okay, as long as the halter is on the right place on the head. 2 knots on the nose, adjust it up underneath your tight, snug tight, like pulling your socks on, and then behind the pole. See, that's the problem. Now right here, I'm training on this mule, and I've got video. He's going to send you, he'll set you up with the videos. Go look how to adjust a halter. But that mosquito that just flying around in here, I just adjusted a halter for him. I can adjust that halter that close. I could take my large draft halters. You see where that halter is on that mule? See how low it is down there? When he pushes against it and paws, that's putting pressure on his nose. He's putting pressure, putting pressure. Now he took the pressure off. Now he's backing away from the pressure. Now he's bumping it again. Bump it. Ouch. Oh, that didn't feel good because the knots are adjusted in the right place. He'll give you a video that shows you how to adjust that halter. Happy trails to you. Call Queen Valley Mule Ranch. We got halters for you.
Cordell is watching from Asaugie, South Carolina, enjoying the show. Let's see here. Hopping back over. Next question. How old is too old for a mule to be ridden or used?
Dead. Otherwise, ride them. They enjoy it. If they're dead, you can't ride them. If they're standing, put a saddle on them and ride them. Hey, I've got friends that's got mules in their 30s and 40s. My wife's mule was 28 when she passed away, but she had cancer. Ride them. Enjoy them. Put your kids on them. That's, put them to work. Give them a job. There should not be no such thing as a cotton picking pasture ornament. No, put them to work. Give them a job.
Next question. Will a horse farrier know how to trim and shoe a mule?
They should. Most don't. They should. Most farriers take off too much heel. Most farriers don't understand angles of a mule. Watch the angle of the shoulder and the angle of the foot. Don't trim off the heel. That's how we get all these problems out there with animals that are crippled. We take too much heel off and they're walking on their bulbs. Okay. I've got videos. I mean, I've taught people how to do it yourself. It's not that difficult. It's not. Okay. It's easy. Give it a try. But if the farrier is any good at all, he knows how to shoe a foot.
Folks, if you have any questions, now's the time to go ahead and put them in. The last question that we have as of right now, we'll see if anybody else puts one in, but the last question we have for today as of right now comes from Cordell. Says, are all John mules aggressive towards newborn foals?
All mules, Mollies and Johns, are aggressive to newborn foals. My wife lost her horse colt because the mule got too close to the side of the fence. The mules reached in, pulled it through, and killed it, stomped on it. They'll do that with calves, too. Don't trust your mules around young calves or young colts. They're very aggressive. Mollies and Johns, they're the same.
Steve, that's all we've got. That's YouTube, that's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's email, that's TikTok. That's all of them. That's all the questions that we have for today's program. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we're all done?
No, I'm good. All we got to do is start this new year out in prayer. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Who's God. Okay? All this stuff they're trying to shove down us right now, don't listen to it. You've got a God that'll bring you through if you will take your time to bend your knee to the right Heavenly Father. Bend your knee to that Jesus. And I'll tell you what, you'll make a better life out of your life. I can't tell you enough how prayer can make a change in this country. If we'll take and put prayer to our feet, let's do it. Praise God. Thank you a lot, my brother. Blessings to you.
Absolutely. God bless everybody. Have a safe and happy new year. We hope that whatever you hope for this new year to be, that you can make that happen. And if you need help, there is a God who is willing to help you, and not just do the help, but actually do all of the most difficult and treacherous and tough parts already done for you. All you got to do is walk up and say, all right, I'm in on it. Thank you. God bless everyone. Take care. We'll